time for Big D Energy with four-time Stanley Cup champ Darren McCarty, former Lion Joik Bell, and the golden voice of Neil Rule. Live on the Woodward Sports Network, 99.1 and 93.5 The Roar, the Woodward Sports app, and anywhere you listen to podcasts. Let's talk some sports. It's Big D Energy.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back. Another episode of Big D Energy right here at Woodward Sports Network. My name is Neil Wolf, four-time Stanley Cup champion. DMAC McCarty back in the house. We got Sam in the audio booth. We got Sawyer on the ones and twos. We got all you guys as well. Our YouTube chat thread. You listen on the radio, however you're doing it. We're certainly grateful that you are. My guy, Detroit Dabber 313. We got the YouTube chat thread that's going on, and you can tap into that. Our guy, Detroit Dabber 313, every day, he's the first one in that chat thread every single day. Sawyer said it best, dude's a workhorse, man.
Dude's a workhorse. We appreciate it. You know, you look at all the other ones, Stevie Brown, Tammy Chan, Club Sauce, Lions Rumble, all you guys, Suba, all you guys, we appreciate y'all. Good to be back and have you on this fine Tuesday morning, entering the last week. The last week of January already.
I know. You believe that stuff, man?
Wow.
It is. It's
that
on,
sucks,
it's on
man.
and popping.
That means I got to be here full time next week again. God damn
Nah,
it.
I know.
Part time.
Man.
No, I'll be back. It's been nice. I've been getting a lot of stuff done. Was just running around playing deathmatch wrestling this weekend and stuff like that. Dude, getting all the cannabis stuff going. So I'm excited. I'll be happy to be, but it's good to be here on Tuesday.
Yeah, absolutely. It's good to have you back, man. I missed you. Missed that energy, everything you bring to the table, but happy to have you all. Like we said, got a big-time show lined up for you. Got a lot of quarterback talk today, a lot of NFL quarterback talk, as you might figure.
Well, here's the one thing, right? And you let me know when you want to get into it, but I mentioned something last week after Matt Stafford winning his first playoff game where he was able to look himself in the mirror no matter what any critic, skeptic, fan, anybody said, and he could say, hey, I did something that I've always wanted to do. People maybe doubted me. What does this mean now? I said, well, are you going to grab the bull by the horns? Are you going to take this opportunity? And he sure did. And the game that played out, and I'm talking the Rams game and the Tampa Bay game with Tom Brady, is that you just knew that the Bucs weren't going to go away, that it was that never say die, but was Matt Stafford going to be, did he learn from blowing that 17-point lead, right? I look back to that, and you call it fat. What do we say? The truth is the truth. He backed into the division championship, but went out and got himself in to the NFC Championship by beating the GOAT, doing everything he needed to do. And that last pass, that last drive, the connection, you have to give him his props. You know, I mean, I
never disputed that.
I see
on here too.
And you never did. And
yeah.
we're not talking that. It just said, I just see, right? And all of it goes into it as far as like, we're on this thread. Everybody who knows, we have a Big D Energy thread, and I look at this thing sometimes, and it's like, why? Because it's back and forth, and it's whining about being right or wrong. This isn't a right or wrong question situation. This is let's look at the whys they were there, right? Because you look at this Rams team, right? The defense, right? The Von Millers, the Aaron Donalds, their defense has been a team effort and stuff like this. So it's not just Stafford. So for whatever reason, and he's not, I hate the comparisons that you're the same person in 2016 or the same athlete or the same player as you are in 2022. Because that's just not true. So how about all the things and all the disappointments and not getting it done and not being able to do it in Detroit is learned, and perseverance of not quitting to get himself to where it is now. So, still got task at hand. It's not like, I look around and it's almost like there's like a celebration, but what are you celebrating? He hasn't done anything yet except do something to put himself
in a position
to prove his talent of why he was picked first overall. And I guess and I get it where you're bitter that he wasn't able to do that here, but that's why they went out and made this deal. for that last play, right? That trade that the Rams made for Matt Stafford for Jared Goff for the draft picks. They made that if you said to him, okay, you're going to make this trade and he's going to make this play. Boom.
100%.
That's all you
we could have
needed.
got more.
All year
They
long.
would have paid more.
Right, exactly.
They would have paid more for it.
What did you just say there? You would have paid more, right? Because it's about, especially if they win this weekend. And I think even
you
though
would have paid any price.
What's that?
You would have paid any price, really, if you want to break it down. Because if you're a Lions fan, DMAC, and I went to you and said that, we can pull the trigger on this trade, and you're going to give everything. You're going to give your entire future of your franchise for it. I think 9.5 out of 10 of us would say, let's step up to the crap table and do it.
Exactly, and it's one of these things that it's a combination, because I look at it, it's the maturation, but it's also too is the experience. And from my experience, how did I learn how to win? From losing. Right, I was just in New Jersey thanking those guys for kicking our butt in '95, because if they didn't kick our butt, I wouldn't have 4 cups.
Right,
and I was saying that. So the disappointment, the not getting there, whatever happened, it's you got to give him his flowers to this point that he's gone out and done it with the team around him and the Rams, right? So here's the big deal. Like this is huge, because this will really. And you know how athletics and sports are, and especially now, you get a rematch with San Francisco where you blew it, where Garoppolo hasn't lost to you, and all this stuff. So if you're going to prove it to get through and get over, this is like, to me, this is the Rams Colorado, right? This is the Rams for the Red Wings back in the day. This is their number. They have to get through. The only way out is through. So if this is sort of the team of destiny or whatever it is, we'll find out this weekend. But it's to me, it's exciting because I know the guy. I like the guy. I like what he's done. I don't hold it against, because the effort, the execution wasn't there, but the effort was always there, and he represented the city and stuff like this. So I can cheer for him, and it's like I always said before. Because where are our Lions at? Does the draft pick at 28, 30, 32, whatever, going into next year really matter that much? Are we that pick away where we needed, like, if we got in the top 20? That's for me.
Yeah.
Right, that's why.
And
this is what is acceptable for you. Some people, that's not acceptable, and that's okay. Some people, he let you down. He was supposed to be the savior. You'll never like him. That's okay, too. Do you just accept it, look in the mirror, and go, well, what's acceptable for me? So I'll be cheering for the Rams because I want to see him. I like the adversity. I like the comeback, so to speak. And this is
you absolutely
sort of
do. You absolutely do. On our YouTube chat thread, Jake Wagoner says, I've tried to beat Dabber. It can't be done. Detroit Dabber's always popping in there first. Steve Brown says, LOL, yep, I keep refreshing to see it come up, and he's always there too. Rich Diana says, Stafford haters unite. And what DMAC is referring to, through the whole network here, we have kind of a chat thread and text message, a lot like you probably do with a lot of your coworkers, where you discuss kind of work ideas. Or
I don't think they have as many. I don't think the people out there have as many.
Tom Mazaway's in their group.
Oh my god.
Adam Baydoun's in their group.
Easy.
No, they don't.
Yeah,
no, they don't have that. But no, and you, that was a constant too, where Maz got mad at me. And here's the thing.
But it wasn't here's the thing. What are we talking about, right? So you got some people, you got to break it down to kindergarten, right? Where it say, this is the question, right? Here it is. Because every time I can't read this thread, because the question that you answers and the question that he argues is not the same thing. Does that make sense? Everybody has people like that? So it's specific questions, but just because we don't agree, it's okay. Like, have your opinion. Like what you like. I mean, and we pick on Maz, and Maz is just the easy one, but there's everybody else, too, that sometimes...
Well, he got heated yesterday.
Well, he got heated because... He gets heated because if you don't believe what he believes, or if you don't see it the way he sees it.
But then he gets mad at you for saying, why are you right? Why are you the ruler? Why do you get to say how people should feel? And I've never said that.
No, and you just said, no, this is my opinion, and this is
and
how I feel.
Here's why I feel the way I feel.
Because here's the thing, some people don't like facts. Sometimes facts get in the way. But then that goes down to the personal agenda. So as long as you look in the mirror, like what you like, don't like what you don't like, and that's the whole thing. But I hate that too when people tell me the way that I'm supposed to feel or whatever. That's not right.
Robert Colosia says, I know DMAC needed to get this off his chest, but I'm giving the Church of Stafford Mass another 6 minutes. I'm going to do some work or stick needles in my eyes or something else that is more fun. Dom Rivera wants to know,
it's not the Church of Stafford. It's the fact that if you cannot look and call what it is, it's the same thing. Do you want me to move to Mahomes and move to Josh Allen? Because here's the thing. Patrick Mahomes proved why you spend $450 million on a guy like this, and you know what? That was his coming out, and it's sort of like he was bored all year long until that sort of game, that moment. But here's the thing: what Josh Allen did, right? Not only driving him down and the defense get it, but he did it twice. The fact that Mahomes should never be able to get them in field goal range with 13 seconds.
That's know Dak Prescott couldn't even run a scramble.
Disgusting. But what Josh Allen did is let's go to the Church of Josh Allen, because by far right there, that's the guy. But Patrick Mahomes, again, but to me, what does that tell you? You want to talk about the Buffalo game and stuff like that? Number one defense all year and stuff like this. At the end of the day, Neil, and this is one of the things that we could talk about that we focused on here, Dan Campbell's clock management, Dan Campbell's timeouts, or Dan Campbell's 2-minute drill. You saw this weekend some of the worst from Mike Vrabel and the worst clock management by people that are supposed to be respected as clock management. So what I saw this weekend is that, to answer my question, nobody has. There's no other than Madden or whatever else, because even the best of the best make mistakes. And we saw that. So to me, what Dan Campbell did and the way that he got better with the clock, or the way that it seemed like he did better managing late in the game, you know, that's also progress. That's one thing that stood out to me this weekend too. He's doing things the Lions are doing. I mean, these guys are doing. They're in the crunch time, and what Buffalo did at the end, they cannot look anywhere but their coach, right? With 13 seconds left to allow. I don't know enough about football to whatever, but I know that's not really enough time, especially if you don't get a kickback. So that's all this weekend. And it wasn't other than just the fact that Matthew Stafford not only took the first step last week, he took the second step. So this could be, and I had the Rams winning the Super Bowl before the season. This could be it.
Yeah, I honestly believe, too, they're going to beat San Francisco this weekend. I gave you the get right, against Arizona. We may be going to get right territory. Set it in stone for this weekend. We'll get back to you on Friday on that one. But, you look across the landscape with what we saw, out of those quarterbacks. And it's a topic that we'll get into coming up in just a little bit. But we certainly will discuss Lamar Jackson, Antonio Brown. Could there be a reunion? And I know that people are going to they're going to roll their eyes at that and say, oh, come on, Antonio Brown. But I want to get deep into it with you about, I want you to take me through the locker room with that stuff, like how that works when a quote-unquote bad guy comes into town, because Brett Hall's reputation wasn't the cleanest in the world.
Here's the one thing, when you want to bring that up, but you look at the rumblings on the Red Wings in the market to sign Evander Kane, and then there's a new investigation over the NHL or whatever like that. But that goes right into the character, development, because he hasn't been the nicest person, or accused of gambling on his team, or I don't know, doing some shady stuff. But yeah, there is something to it. But there's also there's reasons why it works. Right, and reasons why it doesn't work from my perspective. And if you want to look at like the 0-2 team, right, the Stanley Cup team, bringing in Hasek, bringing in Luke Robitaille, bringing in Brett Hull, the guys like that, the guys that already got their flowers. Yeah, I'll let you know.
But the Oilers, the Capitals are all talking about it. And I wouldn't have that big of a problem with it. It's kind of similar to that, but we'll discuss that coming up in just a little bit. I always want to discuss the $2 mystery beer vending machine. We're past the foaling part of it.
Oh, yeah.
I think they're onto something here that could be just as important as the foaling at the Foaling Warehouse.
Oh, yeah. It's just as big as an attraction, like to go foaling. I mean, you got to go to the Foaling Warehouse to go foaling. You can't miss it. It's a perfect thing to do during the playoffs, but a nice little added bonus that if you go foaling at the Foaling Warehouse, you can go hit up the $2 mystery beer machine. And I know I talked about this yesterday, but I just got to hit it again in case somebody missed it.
Fans of our shows are putting it out there on social media.
Exactly.
They love it.
You got to talk about it when people are giving you stuff to talk about, right? We had Fresh Loam go there. He got himself a Natter Day and a Rolling Rock out of the $2 mystery beer machine. That's $4. That's two great beers. That's consumer proof that it works, DMAC. Wow. It works. That is consumer proof right there.
Foaling Warehouse, was it worth the trade to get Matt Stafford for the Rams? Yes. Is it worth Foaling Warehouse? Was it worth their advertising dollars to be on Big D Energy? The answer clearly yes.
Yes. That is the best $4 you can spend right there. And I'll tell you this right now. Every time I go to the Foaling Warehouse, you can guarantee $4 to $6 out of my pocket is going right into that mystery beer machine. I mean, you just can't go wrong with it. You can show up, pay $10, open to close, unlimited play. Great time, great way to spend a Saturday or a Sunday watching some playoff football. I mean, it's going on right now. We have Championship Sunday coming up, guys. You want to throw some footballs, be like Patrick Mahomes, knock down some pins while you're drinking beer. You got to go to the Foaling Warehouse. You can do corporate events with private lanes up to $120. I mean, team building activities. We had our Christmas party there. We're going to do more events there because we had such a good time. Big tournament. Everybody was playing, laughing, enjoying themselves. We had food brought in. You can Uber Eats food. You can pack up a little picnic basket if you want to do it that way. Go old school. Bring some sandwiches, some finger foods. Just do it. Have a good time. So all you got to do, guys, just do me a favor. Go to FoalingWarehouse.com or go to the Foaling Warehouse in Hamtramck. This is Big D Energy on the Woodward Sports Network. We got Neil on the desk. DMAC is back in action today. Sam's in the audio booth making sure we sound crispy, and I'm in here just keeping us live. We'll be right back on the Woodward Sports Network.
It took exploring 50 different formulas and hosting countless taste tests, but we believe Gypsy Vodka is the smoothest vodka on the market. Don't believe us? Ask the owners.
We're Mike and Adam Kazanowski with High Five Spirits Distillery. We're in close to about 1,200 locations throughout Michigan. We wanted to create a brand that was geared more towards freedom, love, adventure, and at the end of the day, we really wanted to tell a story that inspired other people to take risks, follow their dreams, whatever that might be.
Follow us everywhere. Just search Woodward Sports on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, IG, and more.
Back at it here, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network. My name is Neil Rule. Darren McCarty is back in the building. We got you today. We got you tomorrow. You got to step back out, and then next Monday, for real.
For reals. Oh, before I said, sorry, we need to do a Foaling Warehouse $2, $4 bingo board. Like, you got to get ready to see how, collect all the different things to see which ones you get. And then that's pretty cool. I don't even drink, but I think that's cool. Before we move on to the sports stuff, your furnace issue gets solved. You're not all huddled in the upstairs furnace. No, we're talking about the basement furnace, not the upstairs furnace.
Yeah, the living room, the kitchen living room furnace. Yeah, no, it is. It's getting resolved tomorrow.
It's still not resolved.
Well, no, because they got through it, but ultimately, our downstairs furnace will no longer be with us as of tomorrow. She will be retired, and we will usher in the new era, the new generation.
So tomorrow we can have an update.
Tomorrow,
I want to make sure all the young rules are they can play in the basement. They don't have to.
The furnace paid the ultimate price.
Hey,
all
sacrifice.
Gave some, but some gave all, and the downstairs furnace. What sucks about it is the two furnace lifestyle. They were both installed when the house was built. The house was built in 2004. So the other furnace isn't far behind. That's just the reality of the situation.
The reality.
The other unfortunate, and maybe we should get the GoFundMe account going. The furnace people and the appliance people will be there at the same time because the new dryer's coming tomorrow too.
Oh, Wow, what time is the new Range Rover getting dropped off?
No, that's that when the lease is up on the current one. We'll go there.
Okay.
We might
All
have
right.
to. We might have to
Well, hopefully
analyze
there's-
that situation
Hopefully,
too.
there's not a big snow in the neighborhood, and the big vehicles can get down to the driveway.
And here we go, Steve Braun. I wish I had 2 furnaces. Tammy Chin, haha, Neil. I'm sorry for the loss of your furnace. Hey, thoughts and prayers.
Yep.
Thoughts and prayers to the furnace. Lived a good life.
See, but here's the thing: is that the reality is, and the self-awareness is that boom, boom, boom. The second one is probably going to go soon. So when it goes, it's not like if it shocks you.
It prepares you for the loss.
Right. Well, that's just smart. I think that's life. So that's cool.
Yeah, it lived a good life. Like I said, I'm not going to be sad about it because being sad about it makes it about me. I'm going to celebrate the good times we had together with the furnace. What do you got, Sawyer?
I also saw this in the chat, and people are wanting DMAC to tie this up. How's the chair today? Is the chair problem resolved?
Chair's good, and you know what? See, in case the chair wasn't good, I got a stool. And I'm pretty happy about this
Little
stool.
ottoman, if you will.
Exactly. So if you see me leaning back a little bit, the feet are on the stool. But, hey, I got to say, Sawyer, I am happy to be here, not only with the company of you guys, but I'm actually happy to be this. Let's just say the happiest piece of furniture in here is this window.
At least the most relieved, anyway.
Well, relieved, happy, it's all what it is. I would hate to have to do that in front of young Sam anyways. So, no, I'm happy. Thank you, Sawyer. And, Sawyer doesn't do enough things. I walk in this morning, drop my bag down, and he's on the floor trying to work on this thing. But, thanks, Stick, for the stool. And the boys, see, I feel appreciation. So now I can move on. So it's not quite Sellers of Catan, but the stool is a good start.
No, absolutely. I know there was a lot of discussion. We touched on it briefly with Terry yesterday. The NFL with the playoff rules, and it's funny that the Chiefs benefited from it because they tried to get the current rule changed back in 2019. And you, DMAC, being from the hockey world, have seen overtime changes throughout the years, many overtime changes to the game of hockey. Originally, it was just a 5-minute overtime, and if nobody won, then nobody won.
In the regular season.
Yep.
You're allowed, and I think in the regular season, to mix it up a little bit, when it comes down to the playoffs, you play until somebody scores, right? So at the end of the day, all the other gimmicks to bring fans with a shootout, with the 5-minute, now you got the 3-point game, but at the end of the day, that the how many 3, 4, 5 overtimes. I mean, a West Coast game, you could be up to 3, 4 in the morning watching the Red Wings.
Yeah, but that's different. That's different.
But
I enjoyed
my
that.
My point is that there's no time frame. Like you could honestly, you could be up for whatever. There's no ending until somebody scores, right? I don't think they change it in the NFL. I mean, I think that the way it is with the field goal and stuff like this, because here's the argument. If you want to change it, stop them. It's not about the coin flip. It's about stopping them. I like the change they made about if the first team kicks a field goal, the other team has the opportunity. But no, touchdown. Because then you're not like holding your defense accountable.
Yeah, I don't understand.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what you do because a coin flip is going to determine it. Because what's the other alternatives? You know what I'm saying? Okay, you say, hey, we'll play a whole quarter. Okay, well, the team that wins a coin flip is going to get 2 possessions to 1 or 3 possessions to 2, depending on what happens.
Is fine, right? So pretty much stop. Defense has to stop the first drive. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, I don't know. I mean, to me, it's sort of like the participation trophy.
Yeah, and it's incredible because everybody seems to have, and look, we had people talk yesterday about the field goal kickoffs and all that kind of stupid stuff like that. I'm not saying that. I just don't know what change you can make that really changes it. Because again, you know how I roll. Like, I'm a pretty analytical thinker. To say, and Sawyer put the tweet up there, because of a coin toss, Josh Allen never got the ball. I would say because of Buffalo's defense, Josh Allen never got the ball.
That's what I would say. And the fact, if you're going down to that, and the fact that you allowed, you want to blame it like that. It's not the coin flip and the overtime rules that lost Buffalo that game. It's the last 13 seconds to let them tie it, and then the fact that they got to that point. So I didn't look at it as a coin flip. I looked at it that's the way it is. The karma's going to work towards whatever, but I agree with you. Stop them. Buffalo's defense, not the referee's coin flip.
Yeah, I mean, I guess like if people want to say, and really the only thing that I've kind of leaned towards and haven't thought this through is if you want to play another quarter, just play another quarter and play it out.
Well, that to me that goes.
But
more,
it's the same. But it's the same thing.
It goes to
you get an analytic
European soccer,
yeah.
European football, right? You know what I mean? When you go into overtime, you're playing, the 30 minutes or whatever. You're playing a certain amount of time, whether somebody scores or not. It's not sudden victory and stuff like that. So, the consistency is what you want. I mean, you could change it to you play the full quarter and then that's cool as long as there's the consistency.
But see, we're in the same spot though, because whoever wins that coin toss gets the advantage because they get an extra possession. Theoretically,
well, it leads into the same thing that if you can stop, it drags it out. In my opinion, it just drags it out. It doesn't mean more fair. That's not even a word. It doesn't make it fairer, right? It doesn't make it fair. I just think that the big thing that they did is they changed it at the field goal's kicked, then you get a reprieve, right? That was more disturbing than the coin toss, and then you only had to get like 30 yards and then kick a field goal and then the game's over. That was a little bit worse. The way it is now,
a little sus, as my son would say.
What's that?
It's a little sus.
It's a little suspy.
Yeah.
Yep, a little sus.
He dropped that one on me the other day, by the way, Sawyer, for the first time.
Nice.
Said, Dad,
what did you do that was sus?
He goes, Dad, you're being sus right now.
Oh,
you must have been acting out of line.
What were you doing?
Acting real sus.
Well, no. Here's the deal. Like he wanted me to cook some apples for him. He's a big cooked apples guy. So like peel the apple, chop it up, throw it in the pan with the boiling water and all that kind of stuff. Big cooked apples guy he is. Of course, he can't just grab the apple and eat it.
Yeah, too hard.
Can't just do that. It's still an apple. No, he wants it peeled. And then when I don't want to do it, because I'll look you guys in the eye right now. Sometimes I feel lazy and I don't want to peel an apple and boil water and chop it up and put it in the water, then monitor it, then have to find out when the apple's ready to be eaten and, does the fork pass through it, everything, then take it out, then strain it, then let it cool, then give it to the kid. No, I don't want to go through that sometimes. Am I a bad father, perhaps?
No, you're just sus.
Yeah. Am I a sus? Am I a sus father?
Dad.
Would you say that I'm a sus father?
I mean, I don't really quantify that as acting sus. I mean, you just don't want to do it.
I think it's like the opposite of sus. It's very upfront.
Yeah, no, that 100%. Yeah, it's facts, as the kids would say.
Yeah, I'm lazy, yes, but I've been honest about that.
Yeah, you're not lying about it, telling them you're going to do it and then not doing it.
Right.
That would be sus,
But then my wife gets mad at me. Why won't you just peel an apple for the kid?
Why can't the kid peel his own apple and maybe you can throw it into the pan? That's fine.
Am I being sus? I don't know. I wonder about that.
I mean, maybe you get him one of those. You seen the crank peelers? You shove the apple into the end, and then you just crank, and it peels it for him.
Yeah. Lions Rumble 81. WTF is up with that. NFL games ending in a tie. That's sus. that is sus. Oh man. So
eat applesauce. I love it. Eat applesauce.
Yeah. There you go. I don't know. He hit me with that one though, and that's where it was, but. I guess I'm a lazy dad. I don't know. Sports marketing agency. They've been leveraging pro athletes and other notables for a decade against the issues around mental health, substance abuse disorder. With the help of NFL alumni, Sean Jordan has been able to save lives and take a stand against these issues. Coming soon to Woodward Sports, the Sports Marketing Agency podcast. This is the F Word series on fentanyl. If you're struggling with substance abuse or mental health, they are there to help. Go to thesportssma.com. Again, that's go to thesportssma.com and check out their podcast. This is the F Word, dropping soon. Make sure you download the Woodward Sports app in the App Store and the Google Play Store today. Take Woodward Sports with you wherever you go and listen live on your phone or mobile device.
Woodward Sports. Missed part of the show today? Watch again on YouTube or download the podcast anywhere you listen to podcasts.
Back at it, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network. Glad to see for once I'm getting some support out there. KFM on our YouTube chat thread. It's sus that someone does that with apples. Lions Rumble 81. Make them eat Mott's like the rest of us. Ryan Zarnecki, son is spoiled. Sorry, he is spoiled sometimes, man. I'm not gonna debate that. Somewhere else, somebody said that's not what sus means. I'm sorry, and I cleared this with Sawyer, and I forget who it was on the chat thread that said that, but Sawyer was in a frat house a year ago. Right? I mean,
yes,
you are our resident young person slang insider. Is that fair?
Yeah, I guess. Take that title, yeah. Yeah. I mean, we would say if somebody was acting suspect, like you're being weird, you're acting sus right now, dude. Like, what are you doing? We're suspecting that you're up to something. Like, you're acting weird.
Yeah. So, see, there you go. I'll side with Sawyer. He's straight from the frat house and all of this. So, I'll go with it. But hey, speaking of a young person in a young person's world right now, the futures now at the NFL quarterback position, as we were talking about a little bit earlier, for the first time in 12 years, no Tom Brady or Aaron Rodgers in a conference championship game. Is that sus to you, DMAC, or is that a sign of the times?
No, I think.
Or is it both?
I think it's a sign of the times. But you have these certain moments that click in and go, oh, okay, and then you look down and you see that Matt Stafford's in a new spot. You see Joe Burrow, who, if they can figure out a way to not get him killed and protect him and keep him upright, because, man, I think he was sacked 50-some times the regular season, and then I don't know how many times. They might have got him 8 or 9 times the other night. But he's good. But it just goes to show you there's a new young guard. Obviously, Patrick Mahomes, he continues to get back there. He ain't going anywhere. That Kansas City team's not going anywhere until they run into the salary cap issues. So I guess it's just the sign of the times. You know, sign of the times to the fact that, and it also, too, a sign to how impressive that you might not have realized. You realize Tom Brady because of all the accolades, but Aaron Rodgers too. And then you'd look at it and you go, well, Aaron Rodgers has won Super Bowl. Aaron Rodgers.
He's a 500 quarterback in the playoffs.
Dude, and a lot of those losses are in Green Bay, where you'd think you'd have the advantage.
A lot of those losses were sus.
So here's the thing. What you look at more, you know what sus? Sus is Aaron Rodgers isn't that good of a quarterback when it comes down to crunch time.
Just going off the numbers, man. I was talking about this with Terry.
Like, he could get there, but he didn't. See, to me, when you show that stat, right, you look at one guy's got 7 championships and how many other whatever, like, close lot, and the other guy's got one with how many losses, and he just lost another game at home.
With as many NFC championship wins as Rex Grossman.
Rex has a champion.
Remember they played the Colts in the Super Bowl.
Dang, man! Like that's
the only way Manning could get a Super Bowl victory.
So does that mean that the sus thing is Aaron Rodgers? He's really more smoke and mirrors, right? Just to get it done at crunch time. So, this will bring up a good conversation if the Rams win next week.
Daniel Gray in a YouTube chat thread says frat boys are a little sus.
Hey, to each their own, man. It is what it is. Everybody has their own opinion.
Oh, yeah. You know
Did
what?
you mean frat boys or Butler frat boys or sus? Settlers of Catan is not sus.
Right. So, it is, though. It is a changing of the guard. And here's the deal, too. And you brought up, too, with Patrick Mahomes, the whole narrative, and going back to the Aaron Rodgers discussion, Aaron Rodgers' whole narrative changed with that loss. I feel in my mind.
Yeah.
Does anybody else feel that way too? The Aaron Rodgers perception did a 180 just in losing that one game. I honestly believe that.
I don't think it did a 180, but I think it opens up the Pandora's box of all the other things that are sus about the smoke and mirrors of Rodgers and coming through. Yeah, the stats, the quarterback, but when it really comes down to it, and the commitment there, and the thing that's bothers me the most, Neil, is they lose. I know they got blown out in San Fran, but they lose the games that they need to win at Lambeau Field. And I don't care who it is. That's supposed to be locking it down because of the weather, because of everything else. You're supposed to be able to do that. And I don't know. Is this thing where it's more Aaron Rodgers? Is it more, the Matt LaFleur? Down to crunch time by not getting it done?
Is it the front office because of a lack of supporting cast? Because you look at Rodgers' supporting cast, it ain't Matt Stafford's supporting cast. It ain't Pat Mahomes' supporting cast.
You can understand the frustration, and you can't to sit here and say, yeah, no, he's one of the best quarterbacks. But it just goes to show you when it comes down to it, the most critical times, you need that team. You need that team around you. Like Matt Stafford didn't win that game by himself. That was a team effort. He was an integral part, just like Patrick Mahomes, an integral part of Kansas City. But if you don't have to cheat a Tyreek Hill that can outrun everybody at the end there, you know what I'm saying? Like Kelsey making catches on first down, that's a team effort. So your quarterback gets the spotlight, but maybe the whole thing that you see is how sus it is around Aaron Rodgers. That really it is, other than Devontae Adams and a couple guys here and there, that they really haven't put him in a position to really succeed. Now, at the end of the day, I hold the athlete accountable by not getting it done in the situations, especially when they favor you, right? Especially when they favor you. And I don't know. I think the fact that the way that San Fran and in the Ice Bowl and all this stuff, and the way that you look at that game. Green Bay marches down the field first drive. You think that this is going to be a blowout, everything else, and then boom, that's it.
So what about this? And I know, look, this whole week, if the Rams win the next 2 whole weeks, it's going to be like this. So I know Robert was talking about it earlier. We're just going to have to pull our britches up and deal with it over the course of the next couple of weeks, because this was a discussion about Rodgers, and you knew it was going to take this turn, and here we are. Rob Swift. If Stafford wins a Super Bowl, he'll have as many rings as Rodgers, and if he wins next week, as many NFC championships as Rodgers. And those are facts. Those are absolute facts. Kyle says, hot take, if Stafford wins a Super Bowl, Stafford is better than Rodgers. And you know what, guys? I'll tell you this, because I know I got wrongfully labeled a Stafford hater. Wrongfully labeled. You'll stick up for me on that one.
Yeah, you're not a hater.
Yeah, you wrongfully labeled. Yeah, I'm a truther, I guess you would say.
Truth-seer.
Not a Stafford truther, just a truther in general. But here's the deal. Matt Stafford, even if he didn't go to the Rams, if he stayed here and wrote it out and it was over, if you just kind of kept him on his current trajectory, which he was still putting up numbers here, he was going to go in the Hall of Fame. Because the yardage totals and the numbers and everything would have been undeniable. You start getting in the top 5 all-time in numbers, which Stafford would have, you have to be in the Hall of Fame. You have to be.
Yeah, but right.
So he was a Hall of Fame quarterback already. And
because Hall of Fame is stats.
Stat-driven, sure.
Stat-driven, so you put up the stats. It doesn't even, obviously you caveat
unless you're Lou Whitaker, then all of a sudden it's not stat-driven. Or Barry Bonds. Oh, by the way, we'll talk to Tony Paul tomorrow from the Detroit News. We're going to chat a little baseball tomorrow. The Hall of Fame vote drops tonight. We'll see if Barry Bonds gets his rightful place in the Hall of Fame.
I don't understand that if in anything in history, if you're telling a narrative, how you can omit anything and not just put in big like the most gaudy color, star or something like this to asterisk the steroid era, but it did happen. So if you're, 100 years from now, 200 years from now, somebody's reading the history of what went on, you don't know that Barry Bonds was part of Major League Baseball and in there, I never understood that. Is that why you don't want to tell the narrative? Because even though you benefited so much from it and it brought the game back, and then you want to poo-poo it because it's not cool. I don't understand it. You know what I'm saying? Because the rules weren't the rules at the time. You know what I'm saying? Right. I don't get it. How you gonna? So it'll be interesting, but he's not. You know that they're not ready. Hopefully,
We'll discuss that tomorrow with Tony Paul. We certainly will discuss that. But these, again, that just goes to show you as we look at the new era, the new wave, I think, of NFL quarterback is upon us, and it's upon us now. And certainly you're going to have, Matt Stafford's a veteran in the game. But he was, like I said, because I'm not a hater, contrary to what you all think. He was on track to be a Hall of Famer, even if he didn't leave here. And if he does this, if he cashes this thing in, he is on par with the Aaron Rodgers thing. And I know Benji the GOAT in our YouTube chat thread said if you don't celebrate Rodgers, then you're just not paying attention. Well, you know when everybody pays attention? In the playoffs, when he's a 500 quarterback. That's not what I think. That's what the facts are.
And here's the thing, right? Where you think about it, where you talk about celebrating it, because where does it? And think about this: fantasy football, right? Aaron Rodgers is a big player, but it never leads into the conference championships or anything like that, where his play can affect it. Does that make sense? That if you're an Aaron Rodgers guy, unless you're a Green Bay fan and you're diehard, and then you're there and you get to these points and you get disappointed, most of the rest of us are huge Aaron Rodgers fans from a distance. But if he's your keeper in your fantasy league, if he gets you points every year or whatever like this, he does all his work for your league before the team. He needs to do the work for the team. Does that make sense? Like it does. How you would keep it, because you winning something out, it overshadows. All I'm saying is that in a spotlight effect, and yeah, love Aaron Rodgers. Would want him as my quarterback at all times, but it's glaring to the fact that what's around him in that Green Bay team is inefficient when it comes down to times that it matters the most. Right? The times that it matters the most. Because when you see Tom Brady's a person because he did all his work in New England, then went to the Bucks and wins a Super Bowl and then gets to the second round and loses the way he does. That's the GOAT stuff. With Rodgers, you're looking for, well, what did he lost that bad game there. He lost that bad game there. And when did he win? 10 years ago? I mean,
it's getting to be a long time ago, man.
That's just the facts. He just wanted the facts. Now, don't get me wrong. If he wants to leave Green Bay and he wants to come to Detroit, we'll take him here in a minute. And you know what else? Because it's football, I know where he can get his hair cut. Because, guys, let's be honest, we like simple stuff. Football, this time of year. And how can you not love the fact that the NFL, as much as they blew it in the wild card week by some gross games last week, those games were great. So whether you watch it, whoever you're cheering for, you can walk in and get things uncomplicated. Lady Jane's haircut, you walk in, sign in, sit down before you know it, you're handsome and clean. Now you can watch all these games, highlights, whatever, in the TVs right in front of the mirror. So get to Lady Jane's, open 10 to 8, 7 days a week, walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome. DMAC, Neil Rule, Sam Sawyer, Big D Energy. Be right back.
6 dark corners, a driveway and a patio, 5 windows that could become doors. Every house has unique security challenges. Guardian Alarm has more tech, more team, and more ways to help keep them all safe. Get a professionally designed and installed security and smart home system from Guardian Alarm. Sign up today and get a free video device. Guardian Alarm. Smart, right from the start. Call 1-800-STAY-OUT.
Your Detroit alternative to the normal sports blah, blah, blah. It's Woodward Sports.
Off and running, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network. Neil Rule, DMAC, Darren McCarty back in the chair. He's here today. He's here tomorrow. He'll step out for Thursday and Friday, but then he's all the way live the rest of the way back in there, getting the business in, tightened up, I guess you could say.
Tightened up.
Business.
Here we go, Big D.
We got Sam, we got Sawyer here in the house as well. Robert Colosia brings up a point. I did want to touch on this, Robert. You should get in show planning. Big news here in Southern California. The Rams tried to limit playoff tickets to L.A. credit cards only and then backed off. But what's funny is that the San Francisco fans are transplants, just like everybody else in L.A. And we saw this before in the hockey world. I remember the Tampa Bay Lightning tried to do this in the past.
Well, and there was something down there too with the lower bowl or whatever about
You had to wear
jerseys.
blue.
Yeah, you couldn't wear the opponent's jerseys. I think there was something when the Wings played Tampa back in the day, but what a little psychological warfare going on. But then didn't you mention they backed off, and that's because what'd you say? They live in heaven.
Yeah, I mean,
there's no diehard fans because they walk outside at 70 degrees, and
even today, like they walk outside at 78 degrees or whatever it is. They're like it's perfect there. Why would you be concerned about a football game? You know what I'm saying? And nobody's from there. And the team left, and then they brought it back, and they left, and no one cared. They came back, and no one cared.
So because last time. And we heard because there was some complaint about the crowd noise and stuff when San Francisco came back and beat the Rams. Do you expect it to be the same sort of thing, or do you expect the San Francisco 49er fans to show up?
Yeah, I mean they're going to find their way in there, and now it's even going to be worse.
But because
now it's like a call to action.
Now they're going to make it more of a point, where before if it was like 60-40, 70-30, is it going to be 80-20? You know what I mean? Is somebody going to be really mad at the end of the game?
Right.
Right.
Lions
I
Rumble.
don't know. That's just to me. That's just
it's sus.
But it's sus. But I remember back when we were winning championships and whatever like this, is we traveled so well. I mean, I remember when we won the Cup in '98 in Washington, there was 12,000, 15,000 Red Wing fans in the stands. When we traveled down to Arizona, when we traveled down, we travel so well. There's always red and white.
Well, especially in the warm weather cities, because look outside today.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll be one of those guys. Like I'm not going to lie about it, and we'll talk about this, I think, on the show tomorrow. I'm starting to reach my breaking point with winter already, and we're in January. I've peaked early this year as far as that goes. We'll talk about that tomorrow, though. Yeah, when you go to these warm weather cities, DMAC, Phoenix, and when you go to South Florida, and you go to Tampa and stuff like that, when the Thrashers were playing in Atlanta, Red Wings fans, man, they showed out because people don't want to live here in the winter unless you have to.
Ain't that? Yeah, no,
it's true. You lived down in Florida for a while.
I did. No, I did. I lived down in Clearwater. No, I love it.
You're a smart man.
I'm more concerned with my golf game than anything else, right? In the morning. So yeah, we decided to do this instead. But it'll be interesting because and here's the thing: if you're worried about who's in the stands and what it is. As a player, they don't care.
Yeah, I don't think Matt Stafford
cares. They don't care.
Yeah.
I get the crowd noise. If you say, well, it can affect the crowd noise, well, then here's the thing. You know what happened last time? Don't be fooled. Prepare yourself, silent count, whatever it is. I know it sucks that you're playing at home, but sometimes that might happen. So to be focused and win the game. So,
yeah, and for me, it's where... And Robert brought up the point, too. In England, they do it for soccer. Visiting fans are limited to certain sections, but that's so they don't, fight and riot in the stands. So that's why they do that. But, I mean, here, this is an optics thing that this is an optics play the Rams are trying to run because it is going to look like that. And it all goes back to me. This is what you get, Kroenke, for moving the Rams from St. Louis to L.A. You know this when you go out to L.A. This is how it's going to be. People don't care there. Again, the Dodgers fans, they roll in the fourth inning, they leave in the seventh inning. That's the way it is.
No, and Pilar Lastra used to, do the hook here. We used to, Maz and I used to josh her all the time. We used to go to the game, but yeah, that's fourth to seventh, and it's more of than LA. It's more of a show. Now, do you expect to see a lot of celebrities?
Well, yeah, because it's an event.
It's an event, right?
Now,
so
now all of a sudden, the LA celebrity crowd will roll in,
right? And
Rob Lowe will be there, I'm sure, with an NFL hat on, repping the logo and all that. He won't have a Rams hat on. He'll just have. You got to get. I'll put you on the spot, so I got to see that one again, man. You got to pull that one up. Remember when Rob Lowe rolled up to the Super Bowl? Big NFL guy, Rob Lowe is, But that one made me laugh. So yeah, the stars will be out, and Snoop and Will Ferrell and Tom Cruise will be there, I'm sure. Dwayne Dwayne Wade keeps popping up at stuff in Southern California for some reason as well. I don't know why that is, but he will. Yeah, because you have to be seen. You need that camera time, and that's what they're going to do. You got to be like Rob Lowe, repping the NFL hat. Big NFL fan, Rob Lowe is.
Are you sure that's Rob Lowe, or isn't that a replay official? Is that the side judge? You're holding the first down marker?
Yeah.
That's what it looks like. God, he can play every role.
Tammy Chin says, Wings fans traveled well on the road. You could always hear and see them when they were away. The two worst arenas to visit for the Wings fans are Chicago and Toronto. Can't confirm. I went to a Chicago game one time, and they weren't nice out there. I'll say that. But it's all good. I don't care about all that stuff.
What year was
just
that?
Words. When was this? This was 2000, 2001.
Okay, yeah. A little bit more heated back then.
Yeah, it was. And for whatever reason, too, like when I was a little kid watching the Red Wings games, back when the Blackhawks played in Chicago Stadium, and the Blackhawks always beat the Red Wings. It didn't matter how good the Red Wings were, how bad the Blackhawks were. Steve Larmer would reach around the goal and score from behind the goal because his arms were 9 feet long.
Oh, yeah.
Doug Gilmour scored on every slap shot, on every power play from the point. And that stupid organ would go off, and my God, awesome. I hated Chicago Stadium.
That's all good. It got me thinking. Listening to that, do you think that sports betting and the legalization has sort of made that die hard? Because
that's interesting.
What I'm trying to say is that if you're betting sports now, right, and you hate Chicago, but you know that maybe they won you money. Maybe you bet, even though you hate them, they're playing a game and whatever, you throw them in a parlay or something, they soften you to it. Did you think that has anything to do with it? The random stuff that pops into my head, but I think because you don't see that fights in the stands as much. And, certain places, yeah, you will and stuff, but it's that commitment or to your team. Right? Like it was the only thing, my team, and that's it, and whatever like that. Do you think that because of fantasy?
It's like everything else, DMAC. I don't think it's like a poison pill or a silver bullet or anything like that. I know we always, in this day and age, we want to say, because of this happens, and there's no other reason why it happens. I think it's a part of the cocktail.
Right.
I think, when you look at it, fan attendance and all that kind of stuff, sports betting's one angle of it. / fantasy sports. I think that's why there are people that will be in the football stadium. I know this. You can be a Lions fan, be a Lions season ticket holder, and be in the stadium, and when the other team scores, it's your fantasy guy. So low key, you're happy.
Right.
You know what I'm
right.
saying? Like low key, you are. So
that's the old head and heart.
Yeah,
right?
I think that's an angle. I think that's an angle of it. I think the advent of the high definition television is another angle of it. Surround sound, home theaters, man caves, all that kind of stuff. I think the advent of, and this is a kind of a spin-off of the fantasy, the Sunday ticketization of everything, where because of your fantasy team, if you get an alert that your guy's in the red zone, you want to turn that game on, and you don't have that luxury. Society's changed in that respect. We want to be in on everything as it happens, and when you're at a game, you are only given that game. And that's why I never understood why, and stadiums are starting to do this now, where you can go to the lounges and they'll have the different games on. But remember, for a long time, that was taboo to have another NFL game on from another city or stuff like that. I never understood why you cared. Like if you're a team, you bought the ticket, you're in the stadium. I got the money. And if I put these games on at a lounge, you're going to spend more money. Like, that's the business side, the analytical side. I guess the Stafford hater side of me, as people like to say. That's just the analytics of how I think, where I wouldn't care, so I would give the people what they want. I don't want to give you any reason to not come to my business. But I think it's all those things, DMAC, the gambling, the television, how much of a... And it is. I'm being real. And Tammy Chin is a season ticket holder for the Red Wings. Diehard, one of the biggest Red Wings fans I know. I would beg that question to where, to me it seems, and maybe because I have kids, I have a couple teenagers and a young daughter, it's a lot to go to a game, man.
Right.
It is. Like, you have to be really vested in it to go to the game.
Well, I think that also, too, the point is the accessibility to watch wherever you want. We didn't. So if we're growing up and you got to see Wayne Gretzky play or Mario Lemieux play,
That was the only way you got to see him.
right, was to go live or whatever like this. Well, you can throw on any game and you hear about a player, whether you like him or not, you can turn it on and you have some accessibility to it. I think that sort of softens it too. I also think think about when we grew up. Guys didn't move around like they do now, right? Guys didn't move around. So it was like this was your team, this was your, pretty much that you had your guys. So I think a lot of it had to do with it. So I think your best point is there's no silver bullet. It's not just one thing, but it's a combination.
It's eroding, though. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. It's eroding.
Right.
And we're seeing it everywhere. College football, even when Michigan was going through a little bit of their struggles, empty seats at the Big House, empty seats at Ohio State, empty seats at Alabama, to where Nick Saban gets on the microphone and says, hey, we need you guys to come out to the game and stuff like that. And Sawyer, you can speak to this. I mean, you're college age. You went to Butler. Butler basketball is a big thing. They played for national championships within the last decade and stuff like that. I mean, you guys don't want to go as much as you wanted to in the past. Is that fair?
Yeah, I would say
Why?
so. I'm, to be honest, I don't really know. I feel like the social scene helps or hurts it a lot because everybody wants to go to the bars and it's always on.
And you
want there.
And you only want to go if it's a big game.
Yeah.
Right?
I think, yeah. But Butler, the way Butler did it was good, too. Our tickets were free for students. So, that was a big incentive for us to go. Because, we're not paying anything. But if we had to pay $10 or $15 to sit in the upper part of Hinkle, I wouldn't pay for that. Because I don't want to go watch Creighton play Butler.
They sell beer at the Butler games?
My sophomore year, they started to. Yeah, they partnered with, a local brewery in Indianapolis. So, they got those tall boy IPAs.
Did that help student attendance?
In the fraternity house it did. There'd be a bigger group of people going. So expensive though. Expensive.
Yeah, but they got you though. What are you gonna do? Not pay it?
Well, yeah, I'd get one. See, the key was
you load up before.
Yeah, you load up beforehand,
and then load up after. Mm-hmm. And you get a maintenance one while you're there at the game.
Yeah, and they had Chatham Tap, a restaurant bar on campus, half a block away from Hinkle Fieldhouse. So you can just stop at Chatham Tap, then go over to Hinkle. So, yeah, they try to wreck you though with those IPAs. So expensive, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, but you get a little more. You get a little more out of them.
Yeah,
though.
A little more bang for your buck. You get a Dragonfly IPA, you're having a good time. So it's true.
Yeah, it's not sus. Would you say it's sus? The beer prices are sus, right?
It's getting there. It's not like NFL, MLB style yet, but it's getting close.
It's getting close. All right, there you go.
It's not sus.
That's right. Cintron World. It's an aspirational lifestyle beverage brand with a line of sparkling flavored energy beverages and premium bottled water revitalizer shots, as Darren McCarty showing you right there. The official energy drink of the Red Wings, proud partners of the Detroit Pistons, and exclusively served at Little Caesars Arena and Darren McCarty's chair here at Woodward Sports. If you're looking for premium ingredients, long-lasting energy, balanced hydration, essential vitamins, and DMAC, how's that great taste?
It's delicious. It's
there you go.
Light, not too heavy.
Cintron is your top choice. Buy online at cintronworld.com with the promo code RedWings10. Save 10% with shipping included. Drink it. Live it like Darren McCarty with Cintron.
Life is full of hard choices. We're here to make one of life's biggest decisions as simple as possible. My name is Christina Gennari, and for over 20 years, I've helped hundreds of families buy and sell homes. We cover all of Metro Detroit and more, from large luxury homes to starter homes. We will work hard to make sure that you get the home of your dreams. So if you're in the market today or even thinking about buying or selling in the future, make the obvious choice. Christina Gennari, the obvious choice in real estate. Visit us at soldchristina.com today.
What's the over-under? Should I tease? Who is the lock of the night? Make sure you're watching Woodward Bets to get the latest in sports betting and more. Woodward Bets daily on Woodward Sports.
Off and running here, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network, Neil Rule, DMAC, Darren McCarty. We got Sam, we got Sawyer here in the house as well. Juice's Ghost on our YouTube chat thread in all caps. Who taught these old guys sus, SMA?
I know, because Juice is saying that we're like Grandpa walking around with a new word, dropping it. You're sus, Juice's Ghost.
My son did, as a matter. He called me sus the other night. So, DMAC's laughing about it, crushing a Cintron. You know how we
sponsor
do it.
my chair. That's why I love that. Citron, the sponsor of DMAC's chair.
We were talking a little bit earlier, and on the YouTube chat thread, just kind of wrapping up that discussion where AC says, have you seen the crowds at USC games, empty stadiums all the time? And yeah, LA fans aren't going to go, and there's reasons behind that. But I think in particular, it's LA. And I never understood, and this is probably like digital media for 2 or 3. Robert Colosia might, say, yeah, you're kind of right. And then that'll be it, and it'll die a very quick death, my following statement here. But football in LA, to me, is a lot like soccer in Houston, where every time the MLS pops up or the NWSL, they like rush to put a franchise in Houston, or they rush to play national team games in Houston, and nobody ever goes, ever. But yet Houston gets this cred as like some great soccer market, and they're not. The people there don't care. It's like L.A. They keep giving L.A. what they don't want. They've proven they don't want it.
Right, but they're trying to shove it down your throat. You been up a great point with Stan Kroenke, who's the owner, who moved the Rams here, moved the Rams there, trying to get $1 or whatever, but they don't care. Because it's not, you don't grow up there. And like you said, transplants or whatever, there's so many other things to decide to go watch, decide to go see. And I guess here's the point, Neil. When it becomes economically, when it's a 500 to 1,000, depending on how much, whether it's I'm gonna say 500 for you and your partner, or 1,000 for you and 2 kids to go. I mean, that's a considerable investment.
And Tammy Chin in the YouTube chat there was breaking it down. I mean, $1 to $36 for parking every single game.
Every single game. And you know what? And here's the one thing is, like, that's the commitment. Right? So the commitment, and here's the whole thing, is that where people nowadays would have the opportunity of what to choose. Right? And here's the thing, Neil, is don't you love it? Because and Arizona sort of is going through the same thing as far as the way that they threw the 2 big stadiums out in Glendale and around no people. It's just sort of, to me, it comes down to the NFL and people with all the money saying, we're here, you're going to take it this and you're going to take that. And in LA and in California, there's too many other options and people don't care. Right? You're walking in going, I'm the NFL, and you're going to like this. And they're going, what is the NFL?
Right.
Like that's the whole thing where you can't make me.
You left here twice.
There's no options, right? There's no options. What's the options, growing up? And then to the people that have been committed before, that have been Rams fans or whatever else back in the day, like you said, when's it going to pull the wool over? The same sort of thing happens. They don't respect our area. It's just a holding ground, right, where they can move back and forth. So there's no commitment to it then. That's why you look at, would you consider like down the road, we're 49ers fans, if you're a 49ers fans, but they're all over the country, right? All over the country to whatever else, but have had that history and stability, right? The Rams, they don't have that. That's why I expect to answer my own question. It should be 75-25, and I think that even though the Rams will adjust to playing at home and having some of these crowd noise issues, I would think that they want that. But I think that, like you said, San Francisco fans feel they can make an impact in this game.
And now it's a challenge.
Because they've been told they can, and then they can't have tickets, and then here's the impact. So, I don't know. Would you say San Francisco 49ers fans would be an intelligent football fan base?
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
They would know football, right? Mm-hmm. With history and stuff like that. So when you throw this out front, and this will give their team that opportunity, that's half the interest for me too, is to see what will happen in the crowd.
Daniel Gray, 40-year-olds beating 40-plus-year-olds beating millennial slang into the ground.
I'm almost
is
50,
sus.
bro. I'll be 50 in 2 months.
Yeah, and this always breaks people's heart too. Yeah, like I'm over 40, but according to U.S. News and World Report's definition, I did classify as the last year of a millennial. I did.
Future's now.
That.
You are a millennial?
According to U.S. News and World, they're the only ones I saw, and their millennial definition. I was the last one in, the very last year in, and I worked with some younger people at Oakland. He was a millennial, and he's moved on to do some very, very big things in the video industry.
How do you feel about that? So you're
and I asked him that. I said,
OG millennial.
Yeah, and I asked him that. I said, does it break your heart that I'm a millennial too? And he goes, you're not a millennial. And he turned around and walked away. I know, he was acting very sus about the fact that I was a millennial.
Well, see, so technically, if you're a millennial, that's part of your language. Then sus is your language. I'm a Gen Xer, so that's not part, so I'm beating it down like an old guy. But you, technically, it's in your repertoire.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
You and your son go home and say, hey, bro, a couple sus. Couple
Detroit
sussies.
Dabber 313, Millennial Neil.
I
like that one. That one's pretty good. But no, I thought that was pretty funny. Tammy Chin says, I love going to Saginaw games. I had season tickets in Flint for years, and I'm a big OHL guy.
Oh,
big
Flint,
OHL
Flint
slappy.
Flint and Saginaw, great entertainment. Go see that OHL hockey.
Jake Wagoner, generations equal everybody shifting goalpost to not being the one they don't like.
Pretty much.
Hey, why not? Why can't generations? Oh, why can't the generation narrative just follow the narrative of everything else we do, Jake? Just constantly moving to the goalposts so we can identify with what we like or what we want to identify with. Get truth out of the way. Get that stuff out of the way. Truth and logic, that's got no place for it. Let's just constantly change narratives till we get a narrative that we enjoy. I think that's pretty much the way that it was.
That is the way.
Yeah, we got Gen X checking in right here. We go. Let's do the YouTube chat thread generational check-in right now. Tap in. Gen X, stand up. Ha-ha. Boomers, where you at? Gen Zers.
I like it.
Oh man. I love the check-ins and the tap-ins. No, but we were just discussing the whole Rams tickets thing where they're cutting off. They tried to cut off sales. Now they're not going to. You know what I think it is, low-key, DMAC? I think they said, we're cutting off ticket sales to LA Metro addresses only. And they were like, oh, no, we got like 15,000 tickets sitting around here for the NFC Championship game that we can't sell.
Right, or whatever. But didn't Roberts say that most of the people are transplants anyways? San Fran fans have the LA addresses and stuff like this. But at the end of the day, and I was hearing things. The first thing that came to my mind is like, oh, if there's a marked 1,000 or it wasn't sold out, or it's not only that, but the embarrassment.
And I would have the feeling too in LA you couldn't give those things away. They're like, nah, bro, I was going surfing that day. What
time's the game?
They are the late game. I think it's the 6 o'clock game. So it's 3 o'clock.
We would have got the golf game in.
We
were
would
more
have,
concerned about golfing early.
Yeah, we would have been okay. I think we would have been okay. Here we go. Robert, Gen X rule. Lions Rumble 81. Gen X. Steve Shattuck. What's 61 years old? Do we have a label? X, the real Method X. Gen X, the last great generation. Best music. Here we go. Juice's Ghost at Steve Shattuck. You're a boomer, bud. Oh, boy.
Boomer! Yeah!
AC says Neil's going to start flossing next.
I love it.
There you go. Not bad.
The generational check-in.
Oh, because you're a millennial, do you have to have the floss in your back pocket then?
No.
You have to know how to floss?
No, I
think
don't.
That's more my generation.
Yeah.
What
it
are
is.
you?
I'm Gen Z, right?
Oh, are you?
I don't know. Well, it depends. Going back to the narrative thing, you can find it to be anything you want it to be. There's a publication somewhere that has published rules on what it is, and you just keep looking until you find the one you want to be.
Or make
Sweet.
one. All you got to do is publish one of what you want it to be. Then it's fact.
Yeah. Alliance Rumble flossing is a dance at Neil, LOL. No, I'm aware. I'm aware. I do know what flossing is. CJ Snyder, Gen Z. Michael Beabley, blank. I'm probably the youngest one in the chat. What is the latest one? Do we know?
Worth a Google. I can find it.
Okay, yeah, you're like the Jake Wegener. Sawyer's probably a Zoomer, right?
Is that Gen Z then? Because I was born in '98, so whatever that is.
Okay.
You were born in '98?
Yeah. Pretty crazy, right?
What month?
August 17th.
I already had
to be
2
exact.
cups under my belt by the time this kid was hatched.
Yeah, so everyone's getting it in right now. Here we go. Shad says the new one is Gen Alpha.
Just
Wait,
found
we
that.
moved all the way back to the
We're
top.
back to A.
Starting
It's
Hey, what's
like
going on?
it's like hurricane season. We ran out of names now.
Oh man, that's cool.
We got to regroup, man.
Well, I don't know. Can we maybe tomorrow? Can we do a deep dive into like what they all are?
We do need to, man. Juice's Ghost says, "Oh, blank Sawyer, you and I have the same birthday. Holla.
Let's go. My cousin has the same exact birthday as me as well. So
Okay.
we got 3 of us there. A couple twins.
And here we go, Detroit Dabber. If you guys get to call out millennials for participation trophies, I get to call out boomers for ruining the economy and housing market. I think it's time. I think it's time for a break, everyone. I take great pains. And Sawyer, look, you guys know this. I take great pains to not go down that road because nobody wins. It's a race to the bottom.
Absolutely.
And
We
I'm
don't
not-
race to
yeah.
the bottom. We race to the top. And no matter what it is, if we're talking about residential, commercial, no matter what generation you're from, Guardian Alarm gets it. A good defense on and off the field helps you feel secure. Guardian Alarm has state-of-the-art technology that helps you feel safe, all with 24/7 monitoring. Yes, right from this little gadget you call your phone. Guardian Alarm also has convenient features that let you check in your home. Now you can turn on the lights. You can mix the temperatures. You could even, if you were at Neil Rule's house, go to the upstairs furnace or the downstairs furnace. Whatever you want. It'll even detect smoke and the deadly silent killer carbon monoxide. So, if you want to be part of the Big D Energy Woodward Sports Network family and Guardian Alarm, you can too. But you need to call 1-800.
Stay out.
That's 1-800.
Stay out.
Give it to me one more time, boys. It's 1-800.
Stay out. Get out of my house.
Get out of Sam's house. Get out of anywhere, no matter what it is, no matter what generation. That's all for you. Guardian Alarm has been trusted for over 90 years of keeping families safe. Guardian Alarm, your local security experts protecting us all here at Woodward Sports Network. Neil Rule, Darren McCarty. We'll be right back. Big D Energy.
Okay, you thirsty little spin goblins. I want you to pedal into the next dimension. Spin it! Spin! Spin! Uh-oh! Carmen's falling behind. Let's give her the hiss of shame. Spin! Spin! Spin till you bleed!
Don't ride the bike of shame. Come to Planet Fitness and find your own lane with tons of equipment, free fitness training, and no hissing. Join today for just $10 a month.
Opinions are like ear holes, and we're putting ours in yours.
Well, that's not winning, Joy.
It's Woodward Sports.
Man, this got away from me. I knew that this was how this was going to go. Back at it, Big D Energy. Here on the Woodward Sports Network, the YouTube channel, on the radio 93.5, the Roar 99.1 FM, 94.7 HD2. Don't forget about the podcast page as well. iTunes, wherever you get your podcast from, the Big D Energy podcast. Click subscribe. Latest episodes go right to your phone, and boom, you are in there. Rewind, fast forward. You want to skip the generational talk because generational war has been declared, not by me. And you know what? I'm gonna stand up and I'm gonna wear that. Because in the back of my mind, I knew where this was going to go. I knew it. I knew that it would devolve into this. It always does. And here we are, Travis Lamman. The only generation that can afford a home to put Guardian Alarm in are the awful economy-wrecking boomers. And Travis, that's not true. Guardian Alarm has a multitude of plans, and you can find the one that fits the budget for you. That's a pretty good rescue right there, wasn't it?
That was really good. That was really good. I don't understand why everybody's getting all upset about anything else and just, deal with what you gotta deal with today, right? Today's a new day, guys. Today's a new day, and not all of us can drive Land Rovers and have 2 furnaces, and the Xbox One and $70 billion in Activision purchases.
It's funny you bring the video game stuff up, DMAC, because when you were here, we talked about the fact that Activision Blizzard got sold, and obviously the stock market's gone in the tank since we had that discussion. But basically, as I call it, the Call of Duty people. The Call of Duty people sold their company to Microsoft. We talked about it last week. And just to put the amount of money that they paid for the Call of Duty people, that Microsoft paid for the Call of Duty people, the stuff you could have bought with that money, you could have bought every NHL team twice, DMAC. Think about that. You could have bought 2/3 of the NFL teams with that amount of money from Call of Duty. And others, of course. Refresh the... refresh the roster there, Sawyer. It's Call of Duty. Who else?
Activision has like Call of Duty, and then bringing in Blizzard, they have like League of Legends, Overwatch.
Okay, they're like the who's who.
Just the big stuff.
Yeah,
the real
but
big
again,
stuff.
But I guess this perspective, but it doesn't. It's like apples and oranges to me, because you're dealing with something that's throughout the world on that split second, and then it's almost like having paper cash and having Bitcoin,
right.
Or having what this deal that we see is the Bitcoin, like the stuff we don't understand, the NFTs, the Bitcoins to the future, to whatever where we're going, right? The stability of hey, here's your hard cash, or here's what it is, and this is what it means. But to me, what it does is it tells me, holy crap, that's how big this metaverse, this whatever, this.
Well, you have to,
because they look at how undersold to whatever it is, but to whatever. So at the end of the day, it shows how sports, the major sports that we're talking about, we were talking about the Rams that we dive into, really in the whole scheme of the world, and the scheme of where all the money is minute, right? And it goes to show you, well, if the NFL can survive that, and there's still NFL and NBA, there's teams that are still more powerful. That's the thing. It shows me you can buy every NHL team twice over. Well, that goes to show you where the NHL really is in the scheme of where you think. What this does is really give you
that's deep thinking, D-Man.
More of a deep perspective.
Yeah.
But throw that thing up again, right? So when we look at it to where it is, so when we're talking about the mega, the evil empire, where the money comes from, the NFL, right? The fact that there's 10 teams that are still more valuable than this tells you, right? 10, so you add it up. But it also tells you, with the NBA, every Major League Baseball team.
But not every NBA
Hockey's
team.
Small. Hockey's in a circle. Baseball's a little bit bigger. NBA, what it tells me is they're more money, more power than MLB moving to the future. Than NFL, it goes to show you, wow. Either way is that how much money they have. But it also shows you, if this is the initial, right, from Activision and Microsoft, the initial metaverse conglomerate. So when you're initially making it, right, this blows me away and shows me that there's so much money more over there. I guess it goes to show you that why hockey is so small in the scheme of things, why baseball is dying because of everything else, why the NBA, why it can work, and it can work because it specifies their individuals, because it's their individual stars that carry the value. Then the NFL, well, they're the Darth Vader and the Republic and stuff like this that have over time been able to amass the Knights Templar fortune and all this stuff, the treasures from over the years. Then you got the new kids coming up with all this other stuff to show you where they're at right away. They dust off 2 of the major 4 sports by right?
It's true, yeah.
So that, to me, it just gives you a perspective of, so if you're not into Bitcoin, if you're not into NFTs, if you're not into metaverse, if not into this, but you hear about it, you got to know it's moving towards that way. And I always say, listen, I realize that I I don't want to do it. I'm lazy and I don't have enough time, but I've got people around me that love all this different stuff. So as long as they get informed and there's something to it, and money doesn't lie. The money doesn't lie. It goes to show you that the fact that right out of the rip, because what's the next reaction, Neil? Because how does human nature work? And it doesn't matter what generation we're talking about, right? This is the start of something. There's going to be a counter to something, right? You still haven't seen the PlayStation. Then you still don't know what the Nintendo or whatever else. Like, Sawyer, let me ask you, because, like, what is all the stuff that I'm saying or whatever, but what does the initial thought when you saw this or you see this, just the 70 billion, because you're delved into this world, right? Like, what does this just tell you? That game on, or...
I mean, I see it as an opportunity for those developers to kind of get back on the right track. Because I know Blizzard dealt with so much drama over the summer with all the sexual assault allegations and just the horrible workplace culture. And then,
well, your biggest thing is the games themselves, right? You think that the new games that have come out, that developers have kind of mailed it in. They've been very sus as far as new game titles go and all that kind of stuff.
Oh, yeah, it's pure money grab at this point. They've recognized that they can just throw slop out there and people will still buy it. And they just keep throwing out the same product every year, and people still buy it. But
so do you look at this like this is sort of a roundup, cleanup, cleanse to get it back on and to make it right? Because you mentioned things that we're not even talking about, that behind the scenes that people wouldn't know, with all the inner strife going on between this. But is this a commitment? Is this a good sign? Like, what is this? Does this sign for you show you that big things are coming in the future? Like, is this a positive thing?
Yeah, I definitely call it a positive thing. It's a step in the right direction for them for sure. And I mean, Microsoft has gotten really serious with their game catalog and all the companies they own recently. I mean, they bought Bethesda, which has a huge catalog. We talked about that. It has the Doom franchise, Skyrim, all that. And that's a huge name to bring into Microsoft. So they wouldn't mess around and buy some rinky-dink developer company that's not going to do stuff and that they don't think will be successful. So I think this is really good, especially for the Call of Duty franchise, because they've just been kind of run through the mud. People aren't as buying their game as much this year. They're going back to World War II for this one. Nobody wants that anymore. They've done that for 5 or 6 games. So I think it's a step in the right direction. But, I mean, they got to prove it first, though. You have to make good content and quality
Juice's
stuff.
Ghost says, Neil, for perspective, Call of Duty was making $1 billion per quarter last year. And it's just something where, and Honolulu Blue Sparty says, dang, that really puts it in perspective. And it's staggering. We talked about those numbers, and we talked about this, and some of you said, this isn't really my bag. And I get that. I understand that. But I did want to try to figure out a way to bring sports into it when I saw it. That's staggering. To buy every NHL team twice.
Right, which is... Right, which
is
the
New York Rangers.
That's just a kick in the nuts to the NHL to realize, if you're a fan on the bigger scheme of things, this is 30,000 foot where you have, congratulations, you got that little apartment complex over here, right?
Yeah,
that's all it is. You have this in the whole scheme of things in the big picture. But again, you know why that is, Neil? Because hockey's the greatest game live. It's not a game that carries over TV or
and so the writing should be on the wall there for hockey then, because what is crumbling right now as far as sports are concerned? Attendance. In-arena attendance. That should be...
Yeah, but that has to do... That's more to do with, I think, the state of the world than it is to do...
But regardless of how it's happening, hockey's more a disadvantage to that than all the other sports. You know what I'm saying? Is regardless of how it's happening, doesn't matter how it's happening.
Yeah, but
hockey has to figure it out.
The attendance is down in hockey? Because I thought the attendance, and I only care about LCA,
right?
Because those crowds have been
they're coming back,
a lot better.
They're coming back, no question about it.
That's what I mean. But there's also a product to be placed. But what I'm saying is, your diehards are your diehards, and you'll go. But at the end of the day, it's not. It's more feasible to pick up a video game or to bring that than it is to take a family to a hockey game.
But see, here's where my world kind of comes into it, DMAC, and I think this is being way undervalued. And I know we poke fun and we laugh and joke and stuff like that. Broadcasts are the future key to revenue. Broadcast is. Because people, they're not going. but they're still consuming the product.
So
how are they consuming the product if they're not going?
Right.
They're watching.
Yeah, no, I understand, but it's
literally, I think it's
what you're going to watch, because so you got to figure out how you're going to bring, and maybe that's the whole thing, how you bring that live experience into the household, right? Which now we're combining the sports and the metaverse or whatever. It's the experience, right?
Yeah.
So how can you enhance that experience? The 4K, the stuff you're talking about so far, but there's got to be bigger enhancements. Have you guys ever done the goggles? The Oculus?
Yeah, the VR. My son got one for Christmas, yeah.
Right, but have you ever sat in a game or looked at them, watched them in a game or something? Stuff like that is going to be the future, where you can sit in your living room, and have your season tickets, put on your Oculus and sit in your seat.
Well, they're selling that. They're selling it like you can sell courtside Laker seats and watch the game and turn your head and see what, because they have all the cameras there at the arena. Like that's how it's going to be.
So that's the evolution, is figuring it out. So the person that figures out how to bring, because if you could figure out how to bring the live version, like the hockey, the field live, the way that you can take in the energy and stuff like that. If you could bottle that and bring it to your living room, and I don't know, maybe it's one of these virtual things where it's, you're brought in. Who knows? I mean, the fact that Microsoft spent $70 billion, they know something. They're not going to throw money that they haven't ahead, and I think that sports has something to do with it.
Let me tell you about a great experience I have when I break out the bottle of Gypsy Vodka. Right here. There it is. Gypsy Vodka, 50 different formulas, countless taste tests, but Gypsy's the best tasting, smoothest vodka on the market. Gluten-free, corn distilled 6 times, uses artesian spring water. That's the technicals behind that. All I know, I pour it in a glass, I put some club soda in it, squeeze a lime in there, and it's good. And we're off and rolling on a Saturday night. That's the point that I like to bring up about Gypsy Vodka. It just tastes good. Made in Petoskey. You can support local guys from the state of Michigan. Try a bottle of it today. Ask for it by name. It's Gypsy Vodka. As always, drink responsibly.
Everything that we've hoped for, finally.
He's going deep, right side. Oh, that is Edwards out there. He goes up in the air at the goal line.
Hey, it's Brandon Edwards here, wanting to welcome the sports marketing agency to Woodward Sports Network, to the family. Glad to have you guys. For the last decade, the sports marketing agency has literally leveraged athletes around issues such as mental health and substance abuse.
It's all happening now.
Putting on a show here, and that's how you answer. We love our sports. We just wish they'd love us back. Detroit sports for Detroit sports fans. Woodward Sports.
Back at it, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network. Neil Rule, DMAC, Darren McCarty in the house. DMAC will be back with us tomorrow. We got Terry Foster rolling through on Thursday. We got Sawyer, we got Sam. We're playing the hits, everybody. You know the squad that we have up in here every single day. Travis Lampman says the average person doesn't realize how big gaming is. League of Legends by Riot Games, pro leagues fill stadiums for its large tournaments. Stadiums. No, it's absolutely true. It is. It's there, and it's a factor. And as I like to say, and we joke about me using the word sus and all that kind of stuff, just because you don't know about it doesn't mean it's not there. And it's not a world that I live in, the gaming world. I'm cognizant of it. We have an esports team at Oakland that's pretty good. We give scholarships at Oakland for guys that are good at League of Legends and stuff like that. Like we do. It's a part of the world now. It is. And my kids like it. Sawyer, you're big time into it. I mean, that's the way that it is. And it's going to come at the expense of something, everybody, which I know is blasphemous for us. Big-time sports fans, I know it's blasphemy for us to say it, but it's going to come at the expense of something. And if the youth isn't into sports, is into gaming, then that's the way that's going to trend. So, I just like to bring it up there every now and then. Antonio Brown made some news over the last couple days as well, saying that he would like to play with Lamar Jackson, DMAC. And I love Antonio Brown, and he was on the I Am Athlete podcast and talked about it.
And he said that he still wants to play.
Yeah,
did he get into anything else?
Said he'd love to play with Lamar Jackson. It's time to give Lamar his flowers and stuff like that. So where are we at with Antonio
Brown? Is he going to play again? Is it talent?
I think so.
Because talent supersedes anything else. But do you think that that's plausible? Do you
Why
think
not?
that they benefit each other?
If the Ravens organization, Lamar Jackson,
the Ravens need an Antonio Brown. Like the first thing I think is could he help that team? Yes.
And you don't even hesitate.
No,
when you say that.
You don't, because he's one of those teams that right away you thought that he could go there. So again, pros and cons, and you mentioned it. Like what it comes down to is who's already in the locker room that knows him. So if he's bringing this up and like that's been sort of talked about, or somebody, you can't go in there. Let me give you an example. You brought up Brett Hull, right? So they're talking about bringing Brett Hull in. Well, the fact that Brett Hull and Chris Chelios are tight, and for years before that, so even the inkling, and it's sort of when you have your boys there or you have guys there you respect, that's the whole thing. There has to be sort of a respect thing, or a guy that will keep you in line. Now you come to our team where you got the Yzermans, the Larionovs, the Shanahans, the Chelioses, the Lidstroms and stuff like it's easy to fall in line. Right, it's made that way. So a lot of times it has to do with who knows you, right? Because a lot of times this is that perception ain't reality. A lot of time there's a perception of what somebody's like, but it's really not truly what it's like until somebody knows them. That's why a lot of times you look at the Wings right now. You look at Robbie Fabry, Pie Suter, and Tyler Bertuzzi. Well, they played junior together. Gemel Smith, who we just picked up, who's Giovanni Smith's brother, who's heading down to GR for conditioning, picked him up from Tampa Bay, right? He played in the OHL with Tyler. There's where it comes back around, there's some continuity and stuff like that. So I think it's even more important to have that continuity when you bring in a superstar with some baggage. The off-the-field stuff is the most important thing. Can somebody keep this in line? And we looked at it that's what Tom Brady's sort of role that had to do, right? With Antonio Brown in Tampa Bay. Obviously that wore itself out, but it's always communication. So and with AB, it's sort of that appreciation, but there's got to be a relationship there, and it sounds like there already is.
Lions Rumble 81 says, bring AB to Detroit. We're accepting all talent who have a chip on their shoulder, come to the D, and prove them all wrong. But, I mean, for me, DMAC, and that's what kind of asked you about it before we went on the air here, was because would Brett Hull be the best example of that, the closest example to that? I'm not saying Brett Hull was Antonio Brown or anything like that, but he was in a situation when he came here that the relationships that he had, it seemed as though they were kind of eroding in the setting he was in. It ran its course, right?
Hully can, the Brett Hully can run his course, because here's the one thing is he knows who he is, has an opinion. That's one of the things is they're not afraid to share. And
give me the puck and I'll shoot it in the corner of the net.
Just give me the right, exactly.
Somebody here give me the puck.
Yeah, but that's the thing. The different guys are different. You look at a Dominic Hasek. It wasn't like the difficult, but there's quirky guys where you have to figure out, like Dom's a flat out weirdo, when it comes to a goalie, but that's what makes him so great. From his, you know what I mean? Like he's the type of guy, and what do I mean by weirdo? He's the type of guy that if he didn't like the way he played, he'd sleep at the rink he'd sleep at the rink and punish himself and whatever. You just had to stay away from. Just leave him alone, line up in the slot and take slap shots at his head when he wants you to. But it's sort of and you get used to, so it's all about, here's a great question. Where did I see it? Honolulu Sparty asked, do your best players, where is it? I'm always great with it. Do your leaders have to be your best players, or your best players have to be, where is it? You help? Do you see that one? Oh, DMAC. Does a winning team need its leaders to be its best players? No, but there has to be a yin and a yang. So your leaders have to live. So but you have to be specifically good at something, right? So the leadership mode, and then you're going to take care of this, but you don't have to carry the team. The thing is, the leadership, what happens is that everybody knows their role and everybody's accountable to everybody else. So if you were in charge of collecting the water, if you're in charge of collecting the firewood, if you were in charge of bringing the food, right? It's the same sort of thing. What are you responsible for? And that's the leadership. Now, when your leaders are your best players, that's when you win championships.
Yeah, but
a lot
I guess
of the time. But it doesn't. They don't have to be. It just there has to be. You know this, Neil. From there's this recipe that has to come together in the yings and the yangs. So a lot of time, your leaders are your best players. But it doesn't have to be that way. There just has to be that continuity.
Yeah, so I guess my question, the reason I ask you about that is because I'm curious about the dynamic where, and we're seeing it here, where people talking about when we bring up Antonio Brown's name, cancer, no, I don't want him here, don't want him here, don't want him here. It is just this simple, though, guys. I think with where Lamar Jackson is in the game right now, if he goes to Ravens management and says, I want Antonio Brown here, then that's it, right?
Well,
I mean, if he's got that kind of juice,
Lamar
he's got
Jackson
that kind of juice.
Is Baltimore's guy, if that's who they hang their flag on, yeah, they should. Right? You'd expect that, but Aaron Rodgers has been doing that for a few years in Green Bay, and it doesn't work for him. So it all goes to do with the relationship. Yeah. But it should be, but you have to be able to separate. What do you always say, Neil? And it's funny because I turned on the show yesterday. Right when you said it, I don't want to raise my kids or anything like that.
Yeah,
but I want them catching touchdowns. So it's all about yin and yang and pros and cons. And these are all things that are weighed out, and it has to do with the continuity. Not only what the talent and can you bring something that's a benefit on the ice, but also off the ice in the dressing room where you don't rock the boat. Yeah. Right.
And some, it spins into the conversation of fans are talking about with the Lions, go after Antonio Brown and stuff like that. No, I'm not even entertaining that because this roster isn't there yet.
No,
you got to be to the point. But the Ravens roster is
right. Well, when you say Ravens, Antonio Brown, they're missing him. They're missing that guy, that speed guy, that wide guy, the guy that can stretch the field for Lamar.
Yeah, and that's where it is, I think, with the Ravens, is if Lamar Jackson wants him or thinks he'll be of value, then they will bring him in. And clearly he's still a good football player. I'm talking football between the four white lines. Clearly he can still play the game at a very, very high level. And if you're at some point, because I know what everyone says, no. That's like the snap reaction all the time. But you do have to take a step back and look at that analytically. If the Lions had the Ravens roster right now, I would say yeah.
Well, there you go.
I would say hell yeah, because where else you going to get somebody like that? And it's not free. Like, you're not just going to go to the receiver tree and pick one off the tree and bring them into the organization and away you go. When you're at that point, you have to take risk. People talk about that with the Jeremy Grant trade. Like, everyone wants this picture-perfect trade machine victory trade that you want to do. The Pistons aren't at that spot right now. The Pistons are at a spot where you're going to have to step up to the crap table and roll the dice a couple of times. And I think that's where that's where most teams are. Look, there are three classifications, I think, of teams in sports right now. You have the ones like the Lions and the Jaguars and the Texans and stuff like that you know what they are. Like, it ain't happening, period. Then you have the perennial middle-of-the-road team. And I think the Ravens are in that group right now, where they're middle of the road / playoff team.
Right, but here's the thing: when you think about it right now, and you say add Antonio Brown to the Ravens roster, you think playoff team, right? Especially with the new wild card or whatever. But that's like a guy that one of the pieces that they're missing. They're missing other things, but that's a team that you expect. That should be in the playoff. I expect Baltimore to be down, compete for a playoff spot every year, just the way that they're coached and their system and the fact that, how hard they're playing against. Now, they're not the same Ray Lewis-led, Ed Reed-led defense Ravens, but they have a good team. They got one of the best tight ends in the league, in Mark Andrews. And I you know what? Here's the thing. I'm still up in the air with Lamar. I don't know if like he's. To me, I don't know where I'm at with him. I'm not sold on him yet, but I'm not willing to throw him away yet.
Yeah, and
right?
He's gone through a lot of teams.
Let me ask you. Can I ask you before we go to the break?
Yeah.
Just real quick, Lamar Jackson or Tua Tagovailoa? Who are you taking?
Right this second?
Yes.
Like we're
like
playing
right
next
now,
year.
Just pick one.
Like we're gonna go play in the playoffs right now.
Right now.
I would take Lamar right now.
Okay.
If we're gonna play a playoff game tomorrow.
Me too. But there's a lot of like sort of the comparables, but it's sort of like that's to where Baltimore is. That's sort of like the quarterback of where Lamar is.
They have to do something. That's all I know.
Would Antonio Brown help Lamar Jackson? Yeah. Would he probably?
If he stays on the field. And that's the if. But if you're the Ravens, where else are you going to get one from?
That's the thing.
Yeah, you got to figure all that stuff out. Here's something that's easy to figure out. MyBookie.ag. The NFL playoffs, full steam ahead. Conference Championship Sunday, everybody. You know the lines, you know the numbers, you know you're going to watch, most importantly. So get down on that action. And right now, MyBookie.ag will double your first deposit with the promo code Woodward. Boom! Double your money. All the way up to $1,000, and you are ready to rock for this weekend. UFC, always rolling. You know the NBA and the NHL going right now. March Madness just around the corner, and certainly the Conference Championship and the Super Bowl. And if you really are desperate for action, the Pro Bowl too. Do it just for fun. Put $15 on it. Sam, don't look at me like that. Put $20 on the Pro Bowl and tell me you're not going to watch it, Sam. You know you're going to watch it. MyBookie.ag, that's the play. Use the promo code Woodward. They'll double your first deposit all the way up to $1,000. Head to MyBookie, place your bets, get ready for the NFL Conference Championships and, of course, the Super Bowl as well. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie. Have a problem with gambling? Call the Problem Gambling Helpline, 1-800-270-7117.
Hi, I'm Kay Cunningham. Working with Hall Financial to purchase my first home was easier than I could have ever imagined. They treated me like family from start to finish. Find out for yourself at callhallfirst.com.
Make sure you download the Woodward Sports app in the App Store and the Google Play Store today. Take Woodward Sports with you wherever you go and listen live on your phone or mobile device.
Season for us, we're talking sports. 365, Detroit Sports Network, Woodward Sports.
Coming down the stretch, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network, Neil Rule, DMAC, Darren McCarty. We got Sawyer, we got Sam. You know the cast, you know the crew here. Again, as we come down the stretch, Blackhawks will be in town tomorrow at Little Caesars Arena to take on the Red Wings. Red Wings send Gemel Smith to Grand Rapids for conditioning. And DMAC, kind of break this one down for us. And obviously, going out for the conditioning, getting him from Tampa. He was last with Tampa anyway. What am I looking at here, DMAC, I guess is the question.
Well, I think this what you're looking at, I mentioned before, and obviously not only being the brother of Giovanni Smith and stuff like this, but you always got to wonder when somebody that comes through the Tampa Bay system, and this isn't something, these are guys when these moves come up because he picked up on the waiver wires are the ones that Steve Yzerman and his staff, Kirk Maltby, guys that have looked and see who's a guy that deserves an opportunity, but that can fit and play a role. Now, what can I say about Gemel? He's a solid up and down, can play with speed, can skate like his brother, can speed like that, but a good two-way hockey player. He's not going to blow you away with points and stuff like this, but he's going to be able to he can chip in and stuff like this, but to me, this is more of a third and fourth line type of guy. But to me, it's always Steve Yzerman and Pat Verbeek and guys trying to get better. And when guys that come through the Tampa organization or around there, like this lets me know, Neil, and I don't know if Coach Campy or with the DCFC or stuff, where there's conversations of, hey, you know what, I like that player, you know, that's something that could help maybe down the road, and it might be 2, 3, 4 years, it might be something like that, but somebody's on your radar. To me, this sort of like fits. I think it's cool. Also, it'd be cool to see. Anytime that you have family members playing together, but that, you know, it could be a good story. So I think that go down for conditioning, but I think it gets an opportunity. And if it's not that opportunity, then it's and if it's one of these things that he doesn't play up here, but he can be a great role guy in Grand Rapids and development and stuff like this. He's still young, but to me, this is a plug and play piece that Steve Eisman's saying, you know what, I see something that he can help us with. So might be penalty killing, right? That's something that the inconsistency, and that's where the Wings were, to me, where that the fact that the specifics, and you going out and Steve Eisman and Pat Verbeek and Draper and all these guys are looking for specifics now, not just generalities. That means your plan is coming together.
That means you like what you have up top.
That means
right?
You like what you have in a lot of different places, right? So it's all plug and place. Who's going to be this guy? Now, rubber meets the road. We'll see this when he gets in the lineup, but I'm excited because there's motivation there too. The motivation is to play with your brother. You know, the fact that, you know, maybe the two talk about something that the opportunity to do that you wish for your whole childhood and stuff. So, I mean, there's different levels to it, but it's the opportunity that I see. And the fact that Steve Eisman made this decision, that's all. Hashtag Wiser Plan, guys.
It always comes back to that. Detroit Dabber 313. Gemel has been, and this is interesting. This made me think, actually, and it's true. Gemel has been log jammed with offensive talent everywhere he's been. Hopefully he gets a better chance here. And that's where you look at Tampa, and with what they have certainly up top on the first couple lines, with what they do, logjam of talent, I think is a very, very good definition of what they have. So that does intrigue me when you look at it from that perspective. 2-year deal, $1.5 million. He's 27 years old right now. So it is, you know, for Gemel Smith, right, it is go time right now too. I mean, make no mistake with that, where he's at a point where his career, if he wants to make serious money on that next contract, he's got to go right now. So I do like the deal from that standpoint. It's an opportunity,
right?
Yeah.
All you want is just anybody that wants is just the opportunity to prove yourself, right? And been around and had different opportunities, but I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but Steve Eisman's calling and picking me up or giving me an opportunity. That means something too, doesn't it? You know,
sure.
I mean, that'd be just me. I mean, it meant something to me, I guess.
Give me, because I always go to you on this. Give me a realistic expectation so I don't blow things out of proportion. And, you know, the fans are celebrating the move, which you should, because when Steve Eisman makes a move, you celebrate it, because I can pull up the contracts if you want, but you guys know that's something I've been talking about for a very long time with this Red Wings team and the $40 million in cap space next year with Lucas Raymond and Mo Seider for $900,000 a year for the next 3 years. I mean, the team's in a prime financial position, but give me a realistic expectation. You will be happy with blank.
I want it. We're talking about Gemel?
Yeah.
The intangibles, the energy to bring the little things. You know, he reminds me of there's a guy that played in Vegas and in Colorado, Lamar. You know, the fourth line guy, a guy that brings energy, penalty kill. You know, one of these things that the appreciation.
So he's got a chance to be a hero then, even in this town. There's an opportunity to be a hero, right?
Doing the little things. You know, can you imagine that the Smith brothers, one of them just smacking guys around, cleaning up, and the other one's, you know, blocking shots. But the nitty gritty. I guess the expectations. Is see if you can bring something, and it's the intangible part, right? We look. You mentioned Raymond, you know, the scorer, and you look at the Larkin and the Bertuzzi's. There's other parts of the game that we need to tighten up. And to me, if this is the penalty kill part to be the grind line part, doing the little things. So if this is an opportunity to you know, sort of your newish grind line with physicality, with defensive play, with being tough to play against, you know, being that line that can shut guys down. You know, here's the success when you see him playing against top guys, right? See if him and his line or whatever it is being used against top teams, top lines like the grind line was. Well, then you're getting towards success. And that's sort of how I'm looking at it. Hey, maybe he goes out and lights it up. Who knows? But it's more the intangible things.
Epic on a YouTube chat thread says 30 points a year, high energy play with a touch of vision. 30 points a year.
That's big, yeah.
That's about in line. Is that what you expect?
10 goals, 20 assists, 10 he's a 10-goal guy. The fact that your penalty killing is 90%, 87%, something like this. I'd have to do the math because 90% back in our day, but the game's changed. So 85, 87% on your PK. You 10 goals, 25 to 30 points, plus player, right? Plus player, a guy that does, that's cool. And a guy that is sort of, I see him. I see Giovanni being more like me, and I see this Gemel being more like Maltz. Like that's going to be in your face, but they can chip in and he's going to play that
Can
role.
Score a goal on occasion.
Score a big goal on occasion when you need it, but it's more to kill the penalties and piss off some star guys.
So you got me thinking here, DMAC, because I know you talked before about Steve Yzerman and the board and the down the road board, and now
you brought it to my attention how empty
the cap was coming up in the future.
There's money and there's all this. So here's the one thing that we know about Steve: he don't give you anything. You have to earn it. So if you earn it, you'll get it. But it's also too is the guys that are earning it and how if you nail it down and you get it to what you said, right, with your draft picks and your star players that are stars and the Seiders and that you don't have to pay for a long time. Then when you have these role guys that come in, you can give them the appreciation stuff, but you don't have to. When you get them off the waivers, when you get them off different ways like that, and they prove it, it's almost like you had them to begin with. Right, you don't have to go trade for them. You don't have a contract in place. You're playing for a contract. So everybody here on this team is playing for what they're gonna earn or deserve. That's the thing that gets me about Stevie. And I saw it when he did it to Stamkos, who's his number one guy in Tampa Bay, and he made him wait and whatever like this and down to the wire to something that was feasible. Is that you're gonna have to earn it, and that's the thing. Is because he just doesn't give it away.
Absolutely. Planet Fitness, home of the judgment-free zone. You can work out in a non-intimidating, judgment-free atmosphere. Membership, very easy. Just $10 a month. Black card, $22.99 a month. Can work out at over 2,000 locations, and it's a pretty valuable tool. Whenever you're on the go, whenever you're traveling, there's always a Planet Fitness around. That's why I'm such a big advocate of it. I work out daily at the one down here on Maple Road in Troy. On my way here to the studio, great staff down there, and that's where the rubber meets the road, right? Staff is cool. Gym is clean all the time. Really a great atmosphere to get that workout in. Was there this morning. Cardio day, sadly for everybody. Tuesdays, Thursdays, that's a cardio day. Gotta run that 5K and do all the core work and all the stupid crap that you gotta do on cardio days. What are you gonna do, man? But it's only 2 days a week, so you just power through it. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like being hungover when you gotta go to work. You just power through it, man. That's the only way that you can do it. You can join in club, join online at planetfitness.com. Right now, $0 down, $10 a month, and you are in there. Give it a spin. For that price, give it a try. Planet Fitness, you're going to enjoy it. I do. Again, I just go back to it. I'm very, very happy at Planet Fitness. I think that you guys would too. And also, too, if you're in the job market, Planet Fitness hiring all positions. For more information, go to planetfitness.com. Your fitness is essential.
Fellas, football season is here. It's time to make your grooming experience easy like Sunday morning. Get to Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Walk in, relax, watch your favorite team play, and before you know it, your hair will be game ready. Get to Lady Jane's, open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome.
Make sure you download the Woodward Sports app in the App Store and the Google Play Store today. Take Woodward Sports with you wherever you go and listen live on your phone or mobile device.
Monday through Friday for Big D Energy live on the Woodward Sports Network with Stanley Cup champ Darren McCarty, former Lion Joik Bell, and the silky voice of Neil Rule.
DMAC in the wrestling world.
Yeah, I got bit by the door a little bit, but yeah, F the Kirks. I got to put Casey Cattell, a little 6-month revenge. Don't forget, through a door for backstabbing me and hit me over the head down here back in October. So a little payback. As you see, shout out to ICW, Danny D'Amato, all the guys. What a blast. What a great night, great event. As you can see, I got my sweatshirt on here. This Saturday, actually, down in Maybe, the Darren McCarty brand sponsoring the RPW big event, so a lot of the same guys are in, same shenanigans and stuff like that. And if you didn't get a chance to see the GCW Hammerstein, where was old ECW last night, the show, Moxley, Nick Gage, Tremont, all the Briscoes, everything, what a show. So it was definitely a great trip. Got my death match on, got a little bloody. I love it. I love it. It was so awesome.
All in a day's work for you.
All in a day's work. All in a day's work. And you know what? Don't let Maz bitch about that drive to Jersey down 80. It's a nice drive. He just bitches all the time. It's a nice drive. I made the Mazaway drive.
Did you really?
Yeah, I did.
It is a long drive out there. You think it's not, but it is.
No, but here's the thing. When you have, that's the great thing about what I really realize is like your podcast, your conversations or whatever. Like here's a shout out. Here's DMAX. Check out this is my new favorite podcast out there, The Extreme Life of Matt Hardy. Now, if you know Matt Hardy, the wrestler.
Yeah.
The Extreme Life of Matt Hardy drops every Friday morning where he breaks down some of the most famous matches, like the Hardy Boys and Christian and Edge from 2000, the Dudley Boys match, tables, ladders, and chairs. The Hangman Adam Page was the AEW champion, the history with him and going back to North Carolina. To me, I love the intricacies and behind the scenes and stuff like that. So if you're a wrestling fan, check that one out.
Getting a lot of props right now in the YouTube chat thread. A lot of the Big D Energy fans head out to the wrestling events. Juices Ghost. At first you feel creepy about it, but then you get some beers and you see how much fun they're having, and it's a blast.
Yeah, dude.
It's pretty much a formula for life right there.
The weed world and the wrestling world, dude, be you. I mean, it's about the people and stuff like that. Enjoy what you enjoy. And that's what I said at the video, and I didn't realize it at the end, but I loved it so much that even you see me pop at the end when the finisher's right there. But it's all about, I love the passion. To me, why I love this wrestling and stuff like this, especially the indie scene, is because I see the same passion that these guys and girls had, and even behind the scenes of putting it together is what I had to become a Detroit Red Wing of what I wanted. And that's all I need, and you put that around good people is that I'll support you. So that's what I'm doing it.
People also talk about the Calder Trophy, Seider and Raymond. Do you think they're going to get clipped? They're going to clip each other out?
Well, what did I see? Zegras and Anaheim that everybody's giving it to them, and whether it's clip or whatever, whatever. It's a Batman, and would you clip? Well, it only makes sense that you're going to take votes away from one or the other. But I mean, at the end of the day, right? Who should win? It should be clear who should win. But does it work against them? I mean,
it does.
How can it not? It's the same thing as the Lions draft, right? When you have fish, steak, and chicken, and you get the second choice, one's off the menu. It's the same sort of thing, right?
Is Zegras going to become the next Crosby in this town if he wins Rookie of the Year? He's going to be hated.
Why is it his fault?
I don't know, but you know how it works, man. You know how it works.
No, he's in Anaheim, and he didn't beat us for a cup, right? That's what it is. But no, I mean, and the kid's great, and it's not his fault, but it's the fact that the two take away from each other.
That is the case. Whatever. Good show today, my friend. Great to have you back in the saddle, man.
Yeah, it was nice. Good to be back. We'll get a little better tomorrow.
We'll get it popping again tomorrow, my friend. Absolutely.
Again tomorrow. But here's the one thing, right? Opportunity. What did we talk about today? And just the fact that the pretend his name is Sat Matford, right? It doesn't. There's and Jamil Smith and whatever you mentioned opportunities. I'll be interested to see what are they going to do with Jeremy Grant, the Pistons. I know that they called him back up, but is that to make a move? So, baseball tomorrow. Talking to Tony Paul.
Yeah. Baseball Hall of Fame voting, that will drop tonight. We'll talk about it tomorrow.
Let's get you out of here while you get really, really mad. So.
Absolutely. For Sawyer, for Sam, for DMAC, my name's Neil Roll. Appreciate y'all tapping in. Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network. Well, see you later.
Gang, gang.
Future's now, old man.
I was born in it, molded by it.